Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 for this week's reacting to chart music. Yesterday we had some pretty cool tracks. Well, we had a pretty cool track if you watched yesterday. The 1975 was a really good one. We had Travis Scott, we had KSA on there as well. We introduced the new tier system that I'm going to put on the screen now. There you can have a look at what we've got for the tiers. You know, we've got straight in the playlist at the top, re-listenable second down, indifferent and not for me, so you can judge which one's the best, which one's the worst, judging by my opinions. Obviously, you know, my opinions are in accordance with nobody else. It's all entitled to your own opinion. If you've got a different opinion than me, let me know in the comments. Be intrigued to know what you think. Today we've got 3 more songs. I thought it was a bit long of a video to do it all in one, so we've chopped it into 2. This one's going up obviously the day after yesterday, where we had the first part out. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. So we've got 3 more songs. The first song today is a song called Righteous by Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD isn't anybody I've heard of. I can honestly say I've never heard of him before in my life. So again, open mind, don't know what he's about, don't know what type of music it will be. Open mind, we'll see what it's about. I really like the guitar tone. It's a real gentle guitar tone, and the voice goes quite nicely over the top of it as well. Yeah, there's not a lot else to say there really, it's nice. Now again, this is similar to, you know, a couple of the songs from yesterday, a couple of the songs from the first week, but this is different in a sense that it has the guitar on it. Yes, it's got the drum machine, yes, it's got the electronic effects to it, but his voice, although being auto-tuned, is obviously sung. And you've got that melody line running through, which to me appeals a lot more than just, you know, yesterday the Travis Scott one was a big one, you know. It's just the same all the way through. There's no variation, anything like that. Whereas this, you've got the melody, you've got the guitar underneath. You know, I'm about a minute in. I feel like it's got room to go places. Hopefully it will do. So we'll keep listening. The guy's got a really nice voice, actually. I really like that. You know, I wouldn't have thought. I know it's, you know, I'm obviously on record as saying that things like this aren't my thing. I feel like this is different enough to me to be able to have a case for it. You know, it's the song melody, I think, that it just kind of gets me a bit more than, like I say, the monotony of just a normal line. The guitar's really nice on this one. I can't quite get over how nice the tone is. I wish I could have his amp. I'd fucking nick that all the day. But yeah, really cool. Now, it might be a really strange thing, and some of you might not understand what I'm saying by this, but that melody line, the da 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 da, really reminds me of Good Charlotte. Now that, when you listen, if you were to listen to this song and then listen to a Good Charlotte song, you'd say, what the fuck are you talking about? But the melody line is something completely out of Joel Madden's playbook. I would assume that this song's got nothing to do with Good Charlotte, but that is a very Good Charlotte thing. Obviously, I love Good Charlotte. To me, you know, melody lines like that, I really, really enjoy. I'm enjoying this one, you know, I can't lie about that. See, even in these bits there where it is kind of, it's rapped and it's, you know, it's spoken word more than it is sung, you've still got the kind of Post Malone-esque, you know, rapping the start of the line and then singing the end of the line, which I've got no problem with at all. You know, this guy's obviously got talent, he's got a good voice. The lyrics, although I can't understand a lot of them, you know, from what I'm getting, he's writing from a place that's personal to him. You know, I'm there for this. It's, you know, absolutely, possibly, it's definitely my favourite of this ilk. Yeah, it's all good. I think it's quite an odd one to be so high up in the charts. I know it's just come in this week, but to me it seems kind of middle of the road in what you would expect from the charts. In the charts you've got like the real rappy type stuff like the Travis Scotts, the DaBabies, you know, your Post Malone early stuff to an extent, and then you've got kind of, you know, your JX Hucks that's in the charts at the moment, Sam Smiths of the world, you know, things like that. I think this is very middle of the road. To me, it's quite a surprise to hear it in the charts. Not that I would complain at all. I think this is much stronger than the majority of those tracks. Yeah, nothing bad to say about this one really. It's quite a good tune. Yeah, so just coming at the end of the song, the one problem I would have with it is that once you get used to, obviously like it's a 4-minute song, once you get used to him singing and the melodies do get a little bit repetitive. That's one thing that would knock it down slightly for me. Not a bad song at all though. Definitely my favourite of that ilk that I've reviewed on this series so far. Definitely going to put that one in the re-listenable category. Yeah, I'll have to check out some more of his stuff if it's all similar to that. Reminds me of Post Malone without being Post Malone by any stretch. You know, it's very, very different, but it's got them same sort of elements to it. So yeah, absolutely there for that. That one's re-listenable. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll move on to the next song. So the second song today, the 5th song this week, is currently ranked 37 in the charts. Just come in there. It's a song called Don't Need Love by 220 Kid featuring Gracie. Now, I was looking for this song on Spotify and found that you could either have the normal version or the acoustic version, which kind of intrigued me a little bit. Going off the names of the people, I would have expected this to be kind of a hip-hop rappy thing. Maybe it isn't. Again, open-minded, we'll check it out. It's kind of a cross between Jonas Blue and then like what you would expect to be in the club scene at the moment. I guess, you know, where it's kind of a cross between what was happening 2 years ago and what's happening now. Yeah, it's okay, it's pretty cool. She's got a nice voice. The melodies aren't overly inventive, but then, you know, they're different enough to be decent. Although the lyrics repeat, you know, quite often, you know, you've got the "we don't talk when we're sober" bit that now I'm a minute in, I've heard 3 times, which, yeah, could be a bugbear, but you've got different enough things going on around that to make it still interesting. You know, the texture changes, you've got harmonies in there as well. You know, various little bits. The bass line's more prolific in the 3rd time than it was the 1st and the 2nd. You know, so although the lyrics, yes, might be a little bit repetitive, the melody is still quite the same. The texture-wise around it still makes it quite interesting. It's since like that, I don't know whether you can hear that there, where it's obviously a vocal sample that's going, which, yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but I think that would sound better, you know, really ramping it up a little bit better, a bit more Avicii-esque almost, and have that on a real screaming synth, you know, have it going off, have the whole thing go down, and a big explosion moment for that. Not that it's bad, you know, I know the whole thing about the clubland scene at the moment is the restraint, and, you know, you find that on practically all the songs that you listen to from that scene. But I think maybe if, you know, not that they'd listen to me, but if they were to, that's maybe what I would do there. I mean, the biggest thing I can say for this song is, you know, it is repetitive. It does, I wouldn't say it grates on you necessarily, but, you know, it's, yeah, but the texture's really good. And, you know, there's enough in there for it to only be just over 3 minutes long. For the textures to change enough, it's enough to keep you interested for 3 minutes. I don't think the song would want to be there any longer. I do think maybe it needs just a little bit more to make it just a little bit better. This one's indifferent. It's a decent song, you know. It's a radio song. It's not going to offend anybody. It's going to please the people that it's meant to please, but it won't bring many new eyes to the product. For me, it's like I say, I'm indifferent to it. You know, it is what it is. It's certainly not one that I wouldn't listen to if it was on the radio, but it's not one that I'd say, yeah, it's a song that I like. So yeah, that's the 5th one. Move on to the last song for this week. Okay, so the last song this week is a song by Ava Max. It's called Kings and Queens. Now, 2 quick points. I've heard of the name Ava Max, haven't heard of any of her music at all, and it feels like everybody that I've ever listened to has released a song called Kings and Queens. Aerosmith did it, fucking 30 Seconds to Mars did it, loads and loads of people have done songs called Kings and Queens. I think, didn't that other band do it that was in the charts a couple of years ago as well? Not a particularly inventive title, but we're not going to slate the title. Let's we'll give it a listen, we'll see what we think. Okay, so it grabs you by the throat straight away. That's definitely that's one that you would be intrigued to hear the start of on radio. That's quite Lady Gaga. I don't know how it reminds me. Her voice reminds me of Lady Gaga. The production reminds me of Lady Gaga. Yeah, a cool start, definitely. It's very different to anything else I've heard from the charts at the moment. I've just figured out who she is. She is the artist that did Sweet But Psycho. It's a decent song, actually, that one. I quite like that one. So it was her voice. I was picturing. I could hear it from somewhere. She did Sweet But Psycho. Again, this one's got the textures that go with it. It's the production's really cool on this one. You know, her voice is made to sound a lot more powerful than perhaps it is by the reverb. You know, the multi-track underneath it. It's actually a really cool song. It's very, very nice. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying this one actually. In a slightly strange way, it's reminding me of, you know, Lady Gaga's a big one. The chorus and the intro is definitely Lady Gaga, but then, you know, the beat and the guitar, you know, the upstrokes on the guitar is quite Katy Perry. She's almost quite Rihanna, so it's like, it's a mix of 3 artists that, you know, between 2010, 2015 were huge in the charts. She's kind of doing a bit of each of those, which isn't a bad thing, you know, all 3 of those are great musicians in their own right. It's not bad by any stretch, this. I actually quite like it. That's cool, I like that. Wow, it's like a dual guitar synthy solo thing, but it's on an actual guitar, electric guitar. I really like that, that's really cool. I could actually see that being quite rocky live, you know, as long as they had the actual people playing the guitars. Obviously, you've always got a drummer there. That's got room to be quite, you know, not heavy, it's not heavy, but it's got room to be heavy for what it is, you know. That's really cool. I really like that. That's kind of what I meant the last song should do. You know, when I said that, you know, it drops out and then it comes back in. That's kind of what it should do. That to me is almost the epitome of what I meant. And it's got sections as well. It's a short song. It's got sections as well that you wouldn't expect to hear on a short song like this. I don't know whether that translates over to what I'm meaning to what I'm saying necessarily. Obviously, you've got the chorus, which I think is played 3 times. The verses are cool. It's got the little pre-bridge. It's got the guitar solo thing. You know, for a 2.5 minute song, that's quite a lot. Yeah, I like that. That's a good song. I wish I had 5 tiers. That is, I'm going to put that in re-listenable, but it is the closest of the songs that have been in re-listenable to going up into the straight in the playlist. Yeah, by no means dislike that. That's definitely one I'm going to go back and listen to. And it's one that's going to make me go back and actually listen to her again and, you know, see whether I can... Obviously, Sweet But Psycho I know, but I liked that one as well when that came out. So maybe there's more to her. We shall see. We shall find out. Let me know what you think in the comments if you agree. So that is it for this week. I'm going to put the completed tier list on the screen now so you can see it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think we had 3 in re-listenable. We had the one at the bottom and 1 in not for me. Not for me, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this week. Obviously, this week has been 2 parts. Next week, depending on what amount of songs we get in the charts that are new, will depend on whether we're back to 1 part or whether we're back on 2 parts again. If you prefer 1 part, you'd like a longer video, let me know. If you want it in 2 parts, carry on like this. I'm more than happy to do that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree with anything I've said. Let me know your opinions on some of the tracks downstairs in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you all next week.